أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أحل لكم ليلة الصيام الرفث إلى نسائكم هن لباس لكم وأنتم لباس لهن علم الله أنكم كنتم تختانون أنفسكم فتاب عليكم وعفى عنكم فالآن باشروهن وابتغوا ما كتب الله لكم وكلوا واشربوا حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر ثم أتموا الصيام إلى الليل ولا تباشروهن وأنتم عاكفون في المساجد تلك حدود الله فلا تقربوها كذلك يبين الله آياته للناس لعلهم يتقون. صدق الله العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. My dear respected brothers, elders, listeners, the verse of the Holy Quran that I've recited is from para number 2, Surah al-Baqarah, verse 187. Before the blessed month of Ramadan, I started this ruku, which is in para number 2. One ruku dedicated to Ramadan, fasting and rulings related to fasting. And now they are the last two verses that are remaining in this ruku related to the rulings of fasting. So that in today's dars, inshallah, in this verse, we will discuss regarding intimacy during the nights of Ramadan. Number 2, the time of suhoor, when it ends and when the fast begins. Number 3, when the fast ends. Number 4, i'tikaf, seclusion in the masjid. All these rulings have come in one verse in Surah al-Baqarah. And as I mentioned before, in no other place in the Quran we will find about Ramadan, fasting, i'tikaf. So as it's our duty, the bare minimum that we should try and study this ruku in depth to understand about Ramadan and what Allah has mentioned in the Quran about this. In the time of Musa alayhi salam, and the Jews themselves, their fast was different to our fast. They would get a little time after Maghrib, and then their fast would begin, which meant that they could not eat, they could not drink, and no intimacy all the way till the next day. The Muslims that lived in Madinatul Munawwara, and as we know there was many of the Jewish tribes that were there around at the time, and they had seen the fast of the Jews. So they assumed also that during the nights of fast in Ramadan, intimacy was not allowed. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this verse, making things clear for us, the rulings of intimacy during the nights of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ لَيْلَةَ الصِّيَامِ الرَّفَثُ إِلَى نِسَائِكُمْ. Intimacy has been made lawful for you during the nights of Ramadan. So this is lawful because now your fast has ended at the time of Maghrib. After that, all the way till dawn, when the fast begins, this is called the night. So during this time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it very clear that intimacy is permissible and is fine. There's nothing wrong with this in our fasts. هُنَّ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَهُنْ. Then Allah says, they are like a cover for you, meaning your wife, and you are like a cover for them. The word libas has come. What does libas mean? The dress that we wear. There's no barrier between our skin and body and the clothes that we wear. And this is likewise with the husband and wife. That's one meaning. Another meaning, what does libas, what is the purpose of dress? The purpose of dress is to cover your satar, Allah mentioned in the Quran, your private parts, satar. And number two is warisha, for adornment. Depending on how the wife is, it will affect the husband, and how the husband is, it will affect the wife. They either will pick up each other and raise each other in the society, or disgrace each other. Libas, clothes, they protect you from the cold. Likewise, this relationship of the wife and husband is a protection. They safeguard and protect each other. And this could be from fitnas and other things. Nikah itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that so you have this inner peace, and it keeps a person away from fitna, the trials and tribulations and tests. So hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahun. So they are like a cover and libas for each other. So the husband and wife together, they will become better. They have each other's back. If you see anyone that is successful, doing well, they have the support of the wife. If that support is not there, and likewise the same with the husband for the wife. But nowadays we see in the society what's happened. The husband is one way, the wife's the other way. The husband has one thing, the wife has the other. Unfortunately, we're living in such times. But as much as we can, if we try and unite, this will make the family stronger. If children see two different parties, two different strategies, two different strengths, two different efforts, two different lifestyles, then they are confused of which to pick and what to do. So the more they work together to raise the children and they protect one another, then this is how the children will become pious. Because one of the purpose of nikah and marriage is that children that are born. عَلِمَ اللَّهُ أَنَّكُمْ كُنْتُمْ تَخْتَانُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ. Allah knows that you had betrayed yourselves, but He forgave you and He pardoned you. The Muslims in Medina at the time thought that it was unlawful intimacy during the nights of Ramadan, but they had still performed jima, intimacy. But they thought it was wrong. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, even though it was not wrong, but you thinking it was wrong and still doing it, this is like betraying yourself. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had pardoned them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had forgiven them. فَالْآنَ بَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَابْتَغُوا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Now it's clear that they can be intimate and seek what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed for you. Part number 2 is related to now when Fajr actually starts. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا. Eat and drink. حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ. Eat and drink until the white thread is clear from the black thread. Min al-Fajr, meaning Fajr, and Allah has made it clear by saying Fajr, dawn. So the night is the black thread. Now when the white thread appears, that means this is dawn and Fajr time has started, and now you can no longer eat or drink. In the other fasts, there was no suhoor, there was no sahri. Sahri is the difference between the fast of the Muslims and others. Number 2, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned about sahri that there's barakah and blessings in it. Even if it's a sip of water, even if it's a few days. And the time is further after Ramadan when we keep our fast, sometimes Monday, Thursday, 3 days a month, or 13th, 14th, 15th of each month. We decide to keep optional fast. Many brothers struggle to know the time when their fast will start. Everyone knows when to break the fast. But the optional fast, we tend to forget when they start. It's very clear, is the time Fajr starts, the fast will start. Not Fajr Jamaat time, the actual starting of Fajr. Dawn is when the fast will start. So when you look at your calendar, you will see Fajr starting time. That time starts, that means you cannot go beyond that time. And Allah has made it clear, min al-Fajr. ثُمَّ أَتِمُّ الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. Then Allah says, now this fast will start from dawn, and then you must complete this fast till night. What does it mean till night? Till Maghrib. When the sun sets, your fast is now finished. You must break the fast. Regarding Sahri, you should delay till the latest. And regarding Iftar, you should not delay. There's many ahadith related to Iftar. Immediately break your fast. Do not delay in breaking the fast. So as soon as Maghrib time, now you break the fast. وَلَا تُبَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَأَنْتُمْ عَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. And do not be intimate with them while you are in seclusion in the masajid. One restriction of intimacy is if a person is in i'tikaf. I'tikaf, which i'tikaf? We are not talking about optional i'tikaf, we are talking about the sunnah i'tikaf, which is performed in the last 10 days and nights of Ramadan. This is a sunnah i'tikaf. This i'tikaf, that is regarding intimacy, when a person is in i'tikaf, in this seclusion, is not allowed. Intimacy is not allowed. This is one restriction which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put. We also learn i'tikaf will only be performed in the masjid, because Allah has mentioned while you are in seclusion in the masjid, in the masajid. So i'tikaf will only be performed in the masjid. Sometimes brothers ask that we have some home related issues. We cannot stay in the masjid and do i'tikaf. Is it possible if I can do i'tikaf at home? So for the men, they cannot do i'tikaf at home. They must do it in the masjid, because Allah has made it very clear in the Quran that you will do i'tikaf in the masjid. That's the second thing. Which type of masjid will i'tikaf be taken place? In a masjid where it's very regular, the 5 times prayers are done with Jamaat, and people are regularly reading their Salah with Jamaat. In such a masjid, then a person can do i'tikaf, because he does not need to go out to pray namaz into another masjid. For Jummah, there is that concession, if that was the case, that there's no Jummah in that masjid. For the ladies, there's difference of opinion. According to the Hanafi fuqaha, that for the ladies, that a place in their homes which is fixed for prayer, if they want to do i'tikaf, they can do i'tikaf there. However, as I mentioned, there's some difference opinions. Some of the other fuqahas, they don't allow this, and they say no, for the ladies, they must even do i'tikaf in the masjid. Now, for them to do i'tikaf in the masjid, some places have tried, and it's not been very successful, the reports that have come. So you have to be very careful in managing this. So this is a difference regarding the men. They must do i'tikaf in the masjid 10 days, and it's very rewarding doing i'tikaf in the masjid. كذلك يبين الله آياته للناس لعلهم يتقون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like this, makes his ayat, his verses very clear. And the purpose is, again, towards the end of the ruku لعلهم يتقون, so that they may become conscious. Awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes. Being conscious, Allah is watching me every step, every moment of our life. Allah is watching. This is the taqwa we need to develop. And now the next verse will tell us what is the sign. When Ramadan and fasting started, when Allah started with the ruku, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam, at the end of the verse, Allah gave us a message that, look, this fasting that we have made obligatory is that you become conscious. Every step of your life, Allah is watching me. And then Allah is saying at the end again, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ, so that they become conscious. This taqwa has come in the Quran many, many times, and we need to adopt and have this taqwa like we have it while we are fasting. What is the sign that we have taqwa? And this is where many fail. What is one of the things that is deeply enrooted in us, in every human, is the love of wealth. وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. The love of wealth is in the human. And then a person develops better character, understands the disadvantages of wealth, slowly attaches himself away from this. So the love of wealth can make a person do haram, can spoil the taqwa. And one of the things Allah mentions, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ بِالْبَاطِلِ, and do not consume your wealth amongst each other unlawfully. Taking someone's wealth unlawfully, that could be stealing. Someone's miras, inheritance, wealth that you have taken, stolen unlawfully. And then what happens? وَتُدْلُوا بِهَا إِلَى الْحُكَّامِ. And then if it does get to the courts and judges, now you pay the judges some money. Once the case is over, I'll pay you some money from this. So it's clear. لِتَأْكُلُوا فَرِيقًا مِّنْ أَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ, so that you may consume from one party's wealth with sin. وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, and you know. Halal and haram. Income. Do we worry if our income's halal or if it's haram? It's not so simple as like I'm doing the right thing. There's a lot of things that are involved in this. our earning, where we are working, what we are doing, how are we betraying and cheating during the hours of work. Every step, are we cautious that Allah is watching me, like we are when we're fasting. We will not have a sip of water, a sip of drink, a date, no matter what the situation, condition is, whoever's there, if we're on holiday. Why? Because Allah is watching. Likewise, the rest of our life, we have to bring these qualities in. Allah is watching. The test will come with wealth. Many good practicing Muslims with beard, and they pray salah, and very active, mashallah, but when it comes to money, and they're dealing with money and love for money, they will not look at anything. If they have to cheat you, they will cheat you. If they have to lie, they will lie. If they have to sell the items to deceive you, they will deceive you. If they have to use riba and interest, they'll use interest, just so they can acquire and get this money. There's no distinction between halal and haram. As long as the money is coming, as long as I become rich and wealthy, is the purpose. This is the sign a person has no taqwa. A person that has taqwa will fear Allah, that I have to stand in front of Allah. What answer will I give? If I've taken some inheritance and not given this in the correct way to my sisters or to the mother, what will happen? How will I stand before Allah and face Allah? Because I will lose everything. This is what taqwa is. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us taqwa. Ameen. And may Allah give us the ability to spend our Ramadan in the best manner possible. Ameen. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.